Intense, intense, intense. Welcome, everybody, folks. Oh, my goodness. Good evening. My name is Adam Weiner. I'm the executive director here at Farmers Alley Theater. But tonight, we are here. I have the honor to act as the host for the season premiere, second season. We didn't get canceled, folks. We got renewed. It's amazing. It's the season premiere of Broadway Battles. And, folks, we scoured the globe to bring you three worthy contestants for tonight's competition. And we forget those presidential debates happening this week. We are here for some lively musical theater debate about the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Sondheim. I don't know, I saw that intro and if anybody's seen the South Park episode about Stephen Sondheim where they have like a bro off, it's hysterical. And that intro reminded me of it. But anyway, for those of you who might not really be super familiar with Sondheim, Stephen Sondheim, let me go to his wiki page here really quick and say he's one of the most important figures in 20th century musical theater. He's been praised for having reinvented the American musical with shows that tackle unexpected themes that range far beyond traditional subjects with music and lyrics of unprecedented complexity and sophistication. His shows have been acclaimed for addressing darker, more harrowing elements of the human experience with songs often tinged with ambivalence about various aspects of life. So with that said, I'm going to introduce three Sondheim experts tonight. But before I do, I want to make sure we have a lot of experts in tonight's audience, and we want to hear from you. So if you want to interact with us, please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. StreamYards.com/Facebook, so you're cleared to comment along with us. And we want your answers and your thoughts tonight about the battlers' answers, and we'll put your comment right here on the screen as part of the show. So make sure you allow StreamYard on Facebook by going to that link if you haven't already. That is StreamYard.com/Facebook, folks. Now, before I introduce my three guests, I'm going to give the audience a sneak peek at our first Broadway Battles question tonight, so you'll have like a leg up. So because we want to hear from you. So our first question will be, it's a pitch based on a Sondheim musical, and reboots are allowed, I suppose. And who stars and who directs? So pitch a Sondheim movie musical and who stars and directs. I can't wait to see what these armchair impresarios have to say. But first, let's introduce tonight's panel. So tonight, we're featuring two new contestants, right, and one veteran on Broadway Battles. But our first guest has been seen in our Farmers Alley at-home series before. I had the pleasure of chatting with him at a cast reunion show for our 2017 production of It Should Have Been You earlier this year. And he was also seen in our production of The Secret Garden, featuring a couple of other people you'll be seeing tonight. And most recently, he was seen on our stage for one weekend only last fall for Carol's Kings, the amazing tribute concert that has toured internationally and wowed audiences anywhere. But tonight he's here to talk Sondheim. Please welcome DJ Bucciarelli. Hello, DJ. How are you, sir?
Hello. Sondheim's my middle name tonight.
That's right. Remember when we did Carol's Kings? It was
so fun. It was not Sondheim, but I would argue that Carole King has a lot of Sondheim qualities.
Oh, yeah?
They both play piano.
Yes.
They both like men.
Okay.
And they both have curly hair, or at least in his case, he did.
Yeah. That's right. So they are both very, very influential and beloved artists of the 20th century. So hello.
Hi, Becky.
Hello says hello. Absolutely. So DJ, we are so happy to have you here tonight. As I said, you were here for The Secret Garden. Oh, Kathy says hi.
Hi, Kathy.
And you were in A Secret Garden in 2015. With our next contestants I'll introduce, and then you were in It Should Have Been You. And what you've been doing, you were just telling us, you're doing like live weddings and
all the things. So if anybody out there needs some live virtual tribute shows, we do some live entertainment with full lights and sound, and there's a sound operator, and we use green screens, and we use all the shenanigans to make it as much of an in-person experience as possible.
That's so cool. A different world, and we're adapting and we're pivoting in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So, but we're happy to have you tonight. We will get underway in just a minute, but let me introduce our next contestant, who is no stranger to Farmers Alley audiences. I could list her credits, but it would take too long, folks. You last saw her on our stage in 2019's Fun Home as the troubled matriarch of the Bechdel family, an amazing performance. But off stage, she's also a fantastic educator, baker, and mother to two very talented offspring. Please welcome one of Farmers Alley's founders, Ms. Denene Mulay Koch. Hello, Denene.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so and you are no stranger to Sondheim, right? I shouldn't ask DJ, but I think, have you been at a Sondheim show, DJ?
Only 1 year. I was, I think, 16. I had just gotten my license, and I drove, no joke, an hour and 10 minutes in either direction to go play Jack and Into the Woods. I'm in the boonies of Massachusetts. Way out Berkshires, yeah.
Jeremy played Jack in Massachusetts once upon a time. Yeah.
I'm sure his was much nicer than mine.
Well, it was outdoors. It was an outdoor experience. It was kind of cool.
Mine was in a dilapidated church. The director got fired on opening night, and I was not only Jack.
His job's done on opening night.
Oh, truth. But I not only was Jack, but I also had to move Rapunzel's tree, which she was in throughout the show. So I was 16 and pushing a woman trying to sing high coloratura soprano while I'm just shoving a paper mache tree that I broke multiple things off of throughout the show. It was a really beautiful experience.
Lovely. Well, Denene, I know you didn't have to move a tree into the woods, but you were Cinderella, correct?
I was Cinderella and Into the Woods. I've done a funny thing happened on the way to the Forum twice. In college, I was one of the courtesans. I was Panacea, and then when the theater where Jeremy and I met, I played Philia to his hero, and then of course Maria in West Side Story numerous times, yes. If we count his brilliant lyrics to some of the songs in that show.
Oh, well, you excited for tonight? We have some interesting questions. I'm delighted with everybody's answers. And we are asking, of course, also, what's your favorite Sondheim show, folks? We could talk all night just on that question and debate and everything. But love to hear in the comments what if there's a consensus. I think that would be interesting. And I'm sure we'll get to that, your favorite Sondheim show or song later in the show. But Denene, thank you for being here. And let's introduce someone who you are very close with as well. I'm thrilled to welcome our third contestant all the way from New York City, as DJ is in New York as well. And folks, I've looked up to this gentleman since junior high and high school, where he dominated the theater scene in school and in our summer civic theater experiences. He's been on Farmers Alley stage for a memorable concert with his sibling called Singing Siblings. What year was that, Denene? Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
a few years ago. But not too long.
2016, 2017?
Yeah, something like that. And then he has also appeared in his own one-man show in New York City called The Love Curriculum. He is also an expert on all things Nespresso as a machine training specialist. Please welcome the other singing sibling, Mr. Brian Mulay. Hello, Brian.
Hello, everybody. Yay, Sondheim.
Sondheim. And, I really was first introduced to Sondheim, Brian, when I was in this cabaret with you when we were in high school.
Yes.
At Civic Summer Theater, right? And Absolutely. They did it in the basement, in the green room.
Yeah, it was at the Civic, and it was a cabaret. And, it was just a little review of Sondheim songs. And I think I sang Not While I'm Around from Sweeney.
I did Rain on the Roof, and here's this 15-year-old trying to sing these, Rich and Happy, these complex Sondheim songs that carry so much more weight, and I didn't know what I was talking about, but I had a lot of fun doing that, and you said, Brian, before the show, you said you've done a couple Sondheim shows.
Yeah, I had to think about it, but I was a newsboy in Gypsy when I was a kid, and I was Chino in West Side Story when I was in college, and I was on the fly crew of Sunday in the Park with George. I actually got to fly in the painting at the end of Act 1, so I wanted to kind of lean out and be like, I'm the one flying it in. And I also did props for Into the Woods when Denene played Cinderella.
Oh, there you go. And the Mulay family putting you to work, even at a young age. Kathy says Into the Woods as her favorite Sondheim show. I'm sure we will see that a lot tonight. Yes, that was, I don't know. It depends on what day it is. That might be my favorite Sondheim show. But Brian, we are so happy to have you here tonight as a new contestant. I can't wait to get started. And we are about to go underway, but I would be remiss, folks, if I didn't introduce another Sondheim fan, maybe the biggest fan here tonight. He is our fact checker, and he's also the artistic director of Farmers Alley, Mr. Jeremy Koch. Jeremy, but we've never done a Sondheim show.
Attend the tale of Sweeney Koch. My skin is pale and my eyes are blotchy. I love Sondheim.
I think we know what your favorite Sondheim show is, correct?
Sweeney is my favorite. Although I think I take the crown for most Sondheim productions. I've been hero in Forum twice, Young Ben in Follies, Ensemble and Booth in Assassins, Jack and Into the Woods, and in West Side I've played Chino, Action, and Tony.
Wow.
I didn't know that you played Chino. Really?
And what is it?
At the Surflight Theater in Long Beach Island, New Jersey, Jersey Shore.
Wow. I will take on your Chino to my Chino.
Let's go, battling Chino.
I want a Chino off, please. This is a shop for ladies. Ready to
go. Yes, I love Stephen Sondheim. He's just turned 90 years old. He's an award-winning composer, 8 Tony Awards, 8 Grammy Awards, a Pulitzer Prize.
You have a
started
letter
as a lyricist, and then wrote the masterpiece Sweeney Todd and Who Cares About the Rest? Yes.
What do you have? What do you have behind you, Jeremy?
Oh yes, thank you. Denene and I got to meet the great Stephen Sondheim. I'm going the wrong way. We got to meet the great Stephen Sondheim. He was getting an honorary degree at Fairfield University in Connecticut, and a friend of my mother's, her name is Edna. She's like, "Why don't you come? Maybe you'll get to meet him." We met him. He blew us off at first, to be honest, and then later he found out that we were playing Tony and Maria on the national tour of West Side, and so then he talked to us a little bit more. And we had a great time, and then we split apart, and then he came back and talked to us some more. Anyway, I said, "I heard you're a great pen pal," and he was like, "Well, I do write." I wrote to him, and then he wrote back to me. This is him. This is his correspondence. He typed.
He puts his picture on the correspondence.
No, I did that.
Jared did that. That's the Sondheim Review. It's a magazine, and we were featured in it because of our national tour playing Tony and Maria. So Jeremy sent it to him, and he signed it and sent that back. So then Jeremy put that picture together for me for some.
And that's over there.
Well, folks, we have a game to play.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Much as I want to talk about all of this, but I want to get underway. But let me real quick explain the rules of Broadway battles, and we'll get to the first question. Now, this is not a trivia show, folks. There are no right or wrong answers. I'm going to ask an open-ended question relating in some way to Stephen Sondheim tonight, and the 3 contestants will have 45 seconds to give their own individual answers, and then I'll open up to the floor to a short group discussion. See, the contestants, they're going to do their best to convince you, the audience, and ultimately me, the judge, that their answer deserves to be deemed the best and worthy of the round's point. It's all about the argument here, folks, so bring the passion. Bring the passion.
There we go.
And let's get this battle on. Ding, ding. Are we all ready? And audience, again, if you want to comment along with us, we want to hear what you think about the question and the contestants' arguments. Brian's going to smoke some noobs with that headset, and we are ready to go. So make sure you go to StreamYard.com to comment with us live. So here we go. Question 1. I've already teased this in my intro, but let's review the first question. With the success of Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods, and movie musicals in general, we are in a golden age for theater geeks at the movies. So we proposed this scenario to our contestants. You're a hotshot movie producer. You love Sondheim. Your dream is to create the best movie musical from one show in his catalog. Which one do you choose and why? And who are your stars and who directs? Are we ready? Number 1, DJ, you are going first. When you are ready, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. This is A Little Night Music, a hip opera. We're in Washington Heights, New York City. It is hot. It's the middle of the summer and everyone is upset. Now, the director and the star of this production is Lin-Manuel Miranda. He plays Frederick, a lawyer, just married to Philippa Sue, his young virgin bride. Now, he has a serious, depressed son, played by Harry Styles. They have this maid named Petra, who's this oversexed woman. She's going to be played by Vanessa Hudgens. Now, they all decide that the city's too hot, so they want to get out of the city to their home in the Hamptons, and they invite a few friends. They invite Desiree, who is a former washed-up Broadway star, played by Renee Elise Goldsberry. Her petulant daughter, who I affectionately want to be played by Billie Eilish. And a few other kooky characters. There's sex, love, deceit, illicit affairs. Everyone hates each other. It's amazing. It's a weekend in the country where they're twice as upset as in town. That's all I got. Did I do it 45 seconds?
You did it. Great job, sir. That's a great pitch. The producer likes it, but they have a couple more they want to listen to. So very good. Little Night Music. All right, next we go to Denene. Denene, do you have a pitch for your Sondheim movie musical?
I do. I would like to see the movie version of Assassins, directed by Ava DuVernay from Selma and When They See Us, with additional staging by Andy Blankenbuehler of Hamilton. Assassins would be filmed in the historically documented cities where the original assassinations or attempts took place, but filmed in these cities as they stand today. Using actual footage of current protests, picketing, and other unrest, a multiracial cast will assume the roles. Technology will be the instigator in each case during this time when social media is causing a frenzy of divisiveness and fear-mongering. Light bulbs go off and the plans are hatched. Superstar Usher is our balladeer, guiding us as we go, while other cast members are Hugh Jackman as John Wilkes Booth, Anna Lee Ashford as I'm not done. Anna Lee Ashford as Squeaky Frome, Ben Platt as John Hinckley, Uzo Aduba as Sarah Jane Moore, Bobby Conte Thornton as Angara, Anthony Ramos as Lee Harvey Oswald, and Sarah Silverman as Sam Bick.
Oh my! Wow, interesting. Look at this. Wow, an interesting I might have to hear those again.
Okay.
Because they went fast, but very, very interesting. A great answer. Two great answers. And let us go to our third now. We have a Little Night Music. We have Assassins. And Brian, you have another pitch for the studio.
I do. So I would like to see a movie of Company, but set in COVID times during lockdown. And the way I visualize it is Bobby's living in a very small little studio apartment working from home. And he's literally going crazy with loneliness as he's contemplating his life. He's 35 years old. He's never had, a life partner or like a serious mate. And he's starting to really get nervous because, anyone who's single during this time, it's hard to meet people. Like you can't really go out and just, meet people. You can't go to restaurants. You can't dine indoors. And he's starting to freak out. And he misses the get-togethers with all of his married friends and the three girls that he was dating, which would all appear as flashbacks. So he's at home. He's remembering all these times with his friends. And now it's his 35th birthday. And they're throwing him a Zoom party. And after contemplating everything, sings Being Alive. And I feel like it would be really, really poignant because of everything that's going on. And I have a cast, but I think I ran out of time. Did I run out of time?
I want to hear the cast. Who's Bobby?
All right. So Bobby, I think, should be Adam Cantor. He's actually 34 going on 35, and I think he'd be great in that role. I would love to see Patty do Joanne. She's done it a couple times. I'd love to see her do it. And wouldn't it be amazing to see Kristen Wiig play Amy and do her kind of like Judy Grimes patter from SNL with that like stone face? It'd be brilliant. And I think that John Cameron Mitchell should direct the show.
Oh, well, interesting. Oh my gosh, guys, three great answers here. We have, just to recap, we have hip hop, Little Night Music. We have kind of like Assassins for the social media, age, and kind of done symbolically in many ways. Interesting. And then we have COVID Company. So. I'm going
Company
to
COVID.
Company COVID. So I'm going to open it for it. So you guys, all three of you chose kind of modernized the work for the film. Was there a conscious decision to do that? And I guess my question to start, the question I have for DJ is, how do you reconcile like the style of the music, and does it change because we're in NYC and the Hamptons and because who stars in it and such?
Oh, for sure. I think 100% Alex Lacamoire is going to be tapped for this. He's dear friends with Lynn, so he's obviously going to be involved. It's going to go in and out of lyrical singing and rap, as you'd expect. I mean, A Weekend in the Country literally lends itself to rap. Come on, just think about it. It really does. And then, Sin and the Clowns will stay the same, but think of it almost like a Satisfied from Hamilton. It's going to be almost maybe even set the same way. She'll be center stage. They'll go and look at her past life and about her Broadway stardom, and maybe people will dance and, backwards around her. I don't know. But truly, I mean, Lynn's going to be amazing. and it'll be perfect. What I didn't talk about is that as the grandmother, it's going to be Cecily Tyson. She's already agreed to sign on. And for the quintet, I have to remember, but it's going to be all these Broadway heavy hitters. They've already all answered me via email. They're already going to do it. It's going to be Andrea Burns. It's going to be Lea Salonga. She's agreed. Then you have Norm Lewis, Brian Stokes Mitchell, and who's the last woman?
Budget.
I think it's Sydney Lucas. I think we're going to go for a little bit different there. She's now 17, so she could be in the quintet. And but it totally, and I mean, in my mind, their Hamptons house is not a glorious Hamptons house. They are from Washington Heights. It's going to be more Grey Gardens, so a little bit more rough around the edges.
I would say I would play devil's advocate and say maybe that would take away from the authenticity or look of the piece, perhaps. But that's not for me to say. That's for the other battlers more so to say, to take down somebody else's argument. So I guess, Denene, I know you love the show Company so much.
Actually, it's grown on me. Yeah, no,
really?
Yeah.
You famously said that Denene didn't like that show for me.
Well, I don't think I identified with it very well. And now, having been married for so long, I think I can appreciate more of it. But I've always kind of had a aversion to some of the music in that show. But then Raul Esparza sang Being Alive in that revival, and he made me like it. So it can be done.
But why would your movie as Assassins, I would say, very provocative, very controversial.
Well, it is. It's very controversial. It's a little bit dark. But what you said when you sent us the questions the first time, you said, what do you think would excite people? And excite maybe isn't the right word, but I feel like people are very passionate right now about what's going on in the world and trying so hard to combat what they fear is going to happen. And so with all this divisiveness, I just thought the way Assassins opens is this proprietor at a carnival saying, "Hey pal, feeling blue?" And I just thought the idea of these people, these assassins, they're not assassins yet, but they're walking through the streets, they're seeing riots, they're seeing protests, vandalism. They go home, they open their computer to try to make some sense out of it, and there's that proprietor that leans into that computer and says, "Hey, why don't you read some of this other stuff?" And so then the wheels start turning, and all of a sudden they think, "Oh, maybe this will be my way to do this." And so we see it, but we go back in time to the time of the actual assassin, but we show the footage currently because it's still happening. Even though not all of the assassins parallel what's happening today. But did you want to hear any of the cast people again?
Oh, yeah. So Hugh Jack, you split up usually the balladeer. Okay. Yeah. So you had the balladeer as Usher.
Yes.
Right? And yeah,
the voice of reason.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman as Booth,
Yeah.
Annalee Ashford and Ben Platt as Squeaky and Hinckley,
Okay.
Uzo Aduba as Sarah Jane Moore, and then Bobby Conte, I thought as Zangar. I thought he'd be brilliant. I didn't fill out the entire cast list, but Anthony Ramos from Hamilton as Lee Harvey Oswald, the impressionable, and Sarah Silverman, I thought was a perfect gender bend for Sam Bick.
I was saying, and yes, Ava DuVernay is an inspired choice as a director of a modern day Assassins, of course.
Thank you very much.
Selma. So Brian, why is your COVID idea so much better? Not saying that it is, but you should think it's so much better than your sister's.
I think it is better. And the reason why I think it is better is because it is so poignant for what's going on right now, and it really could emphasize the show's climax and the show's point. And if somebody is worried about commitment and worried about getting into a relationship, but sort of wants to get into a relationship at the same time, they would be going crazy right now thinking, what if things never go back to normal? What if I can't just go out on regular dates? What if I can't go to restaurants? What if I can't meet people? Here at all this time, I've been thinking I want the perfect person, but right now I just want somebody. I just want someone to be with me right now. And I think that it would be really amazing to see him on Zoom with his friends, kind of contemplating his life, seeing all these flashbacks of the times with his friends. And I also thought it would be really cool if Another 100 People, which is towards the end of Act 1. How cool would it be if you heard the voice of Marta singing Another 100 People, and they were showing actual footage of New York City with tons of people on the subway and tons of people crowded at Broadway and tons of people crowded in theaters and that kind of stuff. And then right at the end of the song, on her last verse of it, you see empty subways of people wearing masks and like empty streets and like empty. I just think it would be really, really cool. I think it would be super cool.
Yeah. So we're at the end of this kind of discussion. Does anybody have a final word they'd like to say about their pitch? I mean, they're all three great pitches, but only one can get it. Does anybody have like their final word that they want to get in here before we render judgment?
I mean, I'm just going to say with Harry Styles and Vanessa Hudgens and Billie Eilish that mine is going to sell.
That's true. You get the young folks there.
Ben Platt. I've got Ben Platt.
Actually, yeah. Ben Platt, you win.
I've got Kristen Wiig.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
then I'm going to cast Kate McKinnon. There you go.
Oh, fine.
I'm taking Colin Jost.
She's the proprietor.
Guys, excellent answers here. Jeremy, I'll bring Jeremy in for any thoughts he may have or any fact checks. So I don't know if there's anything. I think we're pretty clean here.
Nothing really to fact check. You got your work cut out for you. You've got, Brian's very, appropriate for this time with COVID, and DJ sounds really kind of fun and escapist and, entertaining and sexy. And Denene's, of course, sounds incredibly evocative, and powerful. So you've got your work cut out.
No. Oh man. Okay. So thanks a lot. So we have three choices here. We have two serious shows here with assassins and with company, and you have this lighthearted romp, I guess, dealing with with infidelity and such as well. But
Real Housewives of Little Night Music.
I want to buy tickets to all three of these. And what excites me the most, they all do, but man, I don't know, appealing to my sensibilities, I'm sorry, I want to see that Assassins. I am sorry, I got to see that Assassins. I want to see somebody like John Wilkes Booth looking at a computer with somebody coming up to him. But I think that cast, great choices. I don't know if I would have picked Adam Cantor. I don't think he really sells tickets as much, but a good choice nevertheless. We might be all Hamiltoned out too, and we got In the Heights coming out next year too, which is kind of a similar, not really a similar, but I guess similar, not even, Anthony Raymond. But anywho, Denene, for me, gets the point. Congratulations on that. We will move into question number 2. All right, folks, our contestants tonight are no strangers to lead roles. I'm sure they've had their Sondheim dream role, and mine is one of the answers, so I won't spoil it. But we decided to put a twist on the dream role question tonight. We asked our contestants, what is your opposite gender dream role and why? So Denene, which role traditionally played by a man would be your dream role for?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is your dream role.
Yes.
I would like to play the baker in Into the Woods. What I think Sondheim does so brilliantly is write the human experience. He puts so brilliantly into words what people want and what they're willing to do to get it. The baker, he has so much to learn, but he operates from this place of wanting more. And it isn't until he goes searching for what he thinks he's lost that he actually realizes what he has, but he actually learns what he ultimately had. He loses so much. He suffers great loss. I lost my place here. I apologize. He suffers great loss along the way, but learns so much. If I'm going to play a role, I want my role to take an important journey and learn something, and then the audience learns something too. And I also think that the song No More that the baker sings at the end of the show is one of Sondheim's best. So the baker.
And they cut it from that movie too.
Yeah.
I know, I was so mad.
Yeah, it's a brilliant song. Yeah.
When I heard Chip Zien sing that for that concert they did back in April, I was
in a puddle.
I cried. That was one of the moments where I cried. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what a great role. Such a fun role as well. And funny, poignant, as you said. Great choice. Brian, your brother, has a great choice as well. What is your opposite gender role, dream role?
This time, boys, I'm taking the bow, and everything's coming up rose. Rose from Gypsy. That's all I can say. Simply said, it's one of the best shows ever written. I think the combination of the score and the lyrics and the music, it's just a perfectly written show. And the character of Rose is so complex. She gets to show so much throughout the show. There's vulnerability, there's strength, there's craziness. She has some of the best solo numbers I think ever written. You've got Some People at the beginning of Act 1. Everything's Coming Up Roses at the end of Act 1. Rose's Turn. And it's so hard to figure out what her motives are. And I think that's why every actress that's played her has put their own stamp on it, because it's so open to interpretation. There's just so many ways to portray who she was or who she might have been. And I really do think it would be fun to play a character based on a real person. I've never done that. And I think the research part would be especially interesting and fun.
Well, you picked a good one. I mean, Mama Rose is one of the most iconic roles in all of music. Interesting Sondheim fact, you guys probably know this, but he was originally scheduled to do both the music and the lyrics.
That's right.
Right? And Ethel Merman.
Yep. She said she didn't want to take a risk on an unknown composer, and she said, I want Julie Stein. Yeah,
demanded. But Sondheim still took the job because I think Oscar Hammerstein said, still do it. It's good experience. And
of course,
it's an indelible Sondheim. You could totally hear him in that show. And as a dream role, well, we'll get into it a little bit more, but great choice. So our final contestant, DJ, what is your opposite gender dream role for Sondheim shows?
Well, I went with an option that is something I will never play because I tend to always play the really nice guy. So I chose the villain. I'm also choosing something from Into the Woods. I would like to play the witch. Now, who doesn't like to be, the wicked one, the villain? But she is not just mean, she's also super funny. She has the best reprises throughout the entire show. So what is something else that actors always want? They want a ton of stage time, but they want the least amount of responsibility. So the witch, she zooms in, she sings the heartfelt or mean pieces, and she gets the heck out of there. But she does have a really great moment with Children Will Listen in Act 2. She gets to fall in love with her daughter Rapunzel, and then ultimately she starts the show ugly, and then she ends the show super hot. So who doesn't want that journey throughout the show?
Greens, and nothing but greens, parsley, peppers, cabbages, and celery, asparagus, and watercress, and different. She gets to rap too, so.
That's right.
To also go back to my first choice of a hip opera of A Little Night Music, I'm clearly just a huge rap fan.
As everyone would know by looking at you.
Wouldn't they all?
A lot of folks think that like The Witch and Into the Woods was one of the first, rap songs in musical theater, though Sondheim, when questioned about that, said no. He said Meredith Willson's The Music Man and Rock Island, that opening number.
Yeah.
True.
He's a what?
Yeah.
But wow, 3 great answers. I do like the way you have to wear all that makeup or that stuff. You're not on for that much, but you got to wear all that stuff.
But everybody else takes they take the responsibility, the baker's wife and the baker and all them, they have 99% of the work. And then the witch just zooms in, does her little thing. Everyone loves to see her because she's always someone stirring that pot. And then she's like...
Yeah, and you know what, guys, don't think that you said that you have a part that you might never, ever get to play. Yeah. I don't know about that. I think we're reaching a point where, if it hasn't already been done, we're going to see a Mama Rose... a man play.
And Michael
my
Kilgore
Rose's turn would be fierce. I can tell you, my Rose's turn is fierce.
Need a few more years on you, sir. But wait, Jeremy, you wanted to say something? What did you say?
DJ, you said who played the witch?
Michael Kilgore.
Michael Kilgore. Titus Burgess as well.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
DJ, maybe we could do it together. You can be the witch to my baker.
Oh my goch, let's do it. Farmer's Alley. Tickets go on sale in 2021.
And I'll be Little Red.
DJ's absolutely right.
If it hasn't happened, I think a woman will end up playing the baker at some point if it hasn't happened already.
And therefore, I'm the baker's wife, right? In this.
So now we can really critique. So Denene,
I'll show you.
Yes.
what would Brian really have to work on?
Well, the problem with Rose, I mean, now granted, you have a leg up because you're a guy, so of course you'd be different. But the fact that Mama Rose is so iconic and so many people have played it, everybody's always compared to another one. And even though you said they put their stamp on it, everybody still has their favorite, you know, and they hear that certain voice in their head. So you'd have some trouble becoming worthy as a candidate, you know, because of all the famous people that have done it. And DJ's absolutely right about the witch, you know, the audience is liking the person that comes in and does something kind of, you know, special and then goes away. A perfect example of that is West Side Story. And Jeremy and I know from playing Tony and Maria that everybody's always way more excited about Anita, who has a fraction of the stage time, but I still would play Maria any day, which is why I would also play the Baker, because it's his story. Yeah.
No,
so I don't know. Did I answer your question?
No. I'm trying to think the Baker is my dream role, not my opposite gender dream role, but
right, of course.
My opposite gender would probably be Mrs. Lovett, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Is that yours, Jeremy?
It's mine.
Is that
I'll fight you. I will fight you.
Jeremy was very
upset. We're not in the same production.
I know
he was very upset that I didn't pick Sweeney. He wanted me to pick Sweeney, but I'm like, no.
Oh, really? Why did you want her to pick Sweeney?
Because he loves
a masterpiece. It's my favorite, and it
just to show support for you.
When you talk Sondheim, you have to have Sweeney, but that's my.
How do you reconcile? Do you guys either have a problem because technically Mama Rose is not a true Sondheim show because Julie Stein did write the music?
Yeah.
And Arthur Lawrence wrote the book, but then James Lapine wrote the book for him.
But those incredible lyrics are Sondheim. You know. And I'm going to say, I think Denene would have trouble with the Baker because, you know, even though No More is such a highlight of the show, the rest of the time, those other characters are going to show her up.
Well, I don't know.
Yes. But Jeremy, do you have any thoughts that you want to weigh in here? Because I think I might be close to ready.
No, take it away. I would have. Mine's Mrs. Lovett, and that's all I want to say. So take it away.
Unfortunately, you were not eligible. I would love to see you as Mrs. Lovett. I have seen you. Well, have I seen? Yeah. Well,
I'm ready.
Play a woman on stage multiple times. So,
sure.
Stranger, you're no stranger to that. So, wow. Well, 3 great answers, 3 parts that, of course, many people I'm sure are the dream roles, but there can be only one. I'm going to have to go down. I would love to see all 3 of you do this, but man, there's something about the thought of seeing DJ in that witch getup, doing that rap, because I've seen him do that Carol Kings. I don't know. I don't know. I might have to plot down my ticket for that one. DJ,
I would love a reveal. Are you kidding me? If you gave me a big rap or like a Cinderella where I just pull a thing and it's just like.
I want whatever she does, the transformation. That could be amazing. You know, whatever you end up in this gown that you come into, or burn it, whatever.
I would like it to be more of like I would like to own that I'm a man doing it, but I still would like it to be glittery. So maybe like a Liza Minnelli 2-piece. Would be maybe a little bit.
I love that idea.
Like kind of gender bend it a little bit more. We can be a little bit more MC than Bernadette. I don't have the bosoms that Bernadette has.
Who does? That's why I like this comment here. That's why Jeremy, you weren't a contestant tonight, because Jeremy would have Sweeney Todd as every answer to everything.
For sure.
All right.
You might not have the bosoms, DJ, but you have the cheekbones. You got the.
You have the cheekbones, and you have the high-pitched tenor voice.
And maybe instead of a dramatic reveal, I just really passive-aggressively just disrobe into it. Like it's just like more like an angry witch reveal. I'm just spitballing ideas for your 21 season.
No, I think it's great. It's great. Okay, so this current score is Denene and DJ both have 1 point. Brian's still getting on the board, but we can get on the board, but we still have time. We have 1 question left. Our 3rd and final question. It's a big one, folks. As we know, Stephen Sondheim is one of the most stylized and recognizable composers in musical theater. Some people love him and some people don't love him, but I will recognize that out there. Some of the Forbidden Broadway stuff is really funny if you've ever listened to that stuff. His melodies and lyrics, folks, are iconic and has influenced American musical theater forever. But if you had to pick one song that evokes what it means to be a Sondheim tune, which one would it be? Space aliens have come down to Earth and want to know about this musical genius, but they only got 5 minutes. All right. So what do you do? Which song do you choose and why? Brian is going to go first, and he has a great answer. All three of you do. Brian, take it away. What is the ultimate Sondheim song?
So this one was really hard for me because a lot of his songs actually really speak to me, like the lyrics themselves, I relate to them so much. This one is not that type of song, but what I tried to do was find a song that encompasses everything he's good at. And I feel like Getting Married Today from Company is the quintessential Sondheim song. When you think about the combination of the clever and the wordy lyrics combined with the really challenging rhythms and the phrases that make it so difficult to even breathe, you know it's a Sondheim song if you can't believe the performer accomplished it when it's over. It's like a marathon. And I love having to look up words that he uses in lyrics that I've never heard before. In this song, she says, "Perhaps I'll collapse in the apse right before you all." I had to look up what an apse was. And I found out that it's that like domed part in a church where the altar normally is. And he literally used that word that nobody knows for an internal rhyme that he didn't even need. And that's how you know he's such a brilliant genius of lyric writing. So I just think that is quintessential of Sondheim.
Well, Brian, I'll tell you this. If you do the whole number right now, I will just give you the point. Right. If you're able to do it. Pardon me, is everybody there?
I don't think I can, but I've got this in my phone. I'll try. Pardon me, is everybody here because everybody's there? Thank you for coming to the wedding. I appreciate you going. Forget it. Impossible. But it's an amazing song. But Kristen Wiig as Judy Grimes from SNL, just picture it, that deadpan face with her like scared to death looking wide eyes doing that number.
Well, I don't know who sings it on the London New Company recording, which came out, with the gender swapping where Bobby's a woman, that was supposed to open on Broadway this year.
In March, right near his 90th birthday.
It's a great rendition of that song too, now with a guy doing it too.
Yeah.
Getting Married Today, great choice, Brian. All right, let's go to DJ. DJ, the aliens are here. What is Stephen Sondheim? What song do you present?
I would chose Good Thing Going from Merrily We Roll Along. And Denene actually touched upon this earlier on, in that she said Sondheim is an expert at writing about the human experience or the human condition. And personally, what I love about Merrily We Roll Along and Good Thing Going is the fact that it is super simple. The lyrics are incredibly poignant. And, it's so simple just to say that we all start out with these very simple dreams. And as we continue to grow and our dreams continue to grow, eventually we self-sabotage. And then they grow again and they self-sabotage. And I think that is kind of the overall theme of almost every Sondheim show. I mean, the lyrics say, we started out like a song. I have them right here. We started quiet and slow with no surprise. So every musical starts out quiet and slow, and then there's this disruption of status quo, and then the action happens. And that's why I love it.
Like a song. That's great. Covered by so many. Mandy Patinkin does a cover of that song. It's beautiful.
I think he's covered every Sondheim song.
Yeah, pretty much. But great choice. Underrated. The whole show is underrated, of course.
And I love that it was a failure. Debatably, the most notable failure Stephen Sondheim has ever had. And the thing is that if none of you have out there watched the documentary on Netflix, it's so good because they all had such high hopes and they were like, this is a surefire hit. And how human experience is that to say, like, I know this is going to work. This is going to be huge and it's going to change everyone's lives. And it just didn't.
Well, now Richard Linklater's making the movie with Ben Platt and Beanie Feldstein, and they're doing it like in real time. They're filming it.
Yeah,
it's gonna take 20
like that movie about the boy. Yeah, they're doing
Boyhood one. Yeah.
Right. Just like
why
that.
wasn't I called?
Someone said
I'm going to age really well, guys. You have got to use me.
You had a Carol King's gig. Sorry.
Well, I have met Stephen Sondheim as well, but my story is not as exciting. I was working at King Charles III on Broadway. I was selling T-shirts, and Stephen Sondheim showed up with a very young lover. He came right up to me, and he looked me in the eye, and I thought, surely he's going to pick me for his next show. And he said, "Where's my seat?" That's actually a very true story, and I had no idea, and I lied to him to his face, and I just kind of like pointed.
You can go sit, wherever you want.
I don't know. You sit anywhere. Yep. So that's my Stephen Sondheim story.
Excellent. So we have Getting Married Today. We have Good Thing Going. Denene, your ultimate Sondheim song. What is your choice?
Yeah, when you first sent us the questions, I think the word you used was quintessential. And I thought, like Brian, yes, his lyrics are really, really clever and he's very witty and the patter and all of the rhythms and the intricate melodies. But once again, I go to what DJ just said, which he repeated what I said, is this human experience. So my song is Sorry, Grateful from Company. I think this song so beautifully puts into words the struggle we all feel, always looking back, trying to decide if we made the right decisions in our life, constantly wondering what we could have had or where we'd be if we'd made a different turn. And yet appreciating what we have at the same time. Sondheim just understands how we all struggle with who we are, who we want others to think we are, and who ultimately we want to be. So I just love the song. I think lyrically it contains that thing that Sondheim has over other writers, hands down.
I love Sorry, Grateful. It comes so early in that show and it kind of gets lost because you hear it very early, but just you don't live for her, you do live with her. Just things like that. And I think he says something, things
I've got him right here.
Some things get better.
Some get worse. Wait, good things get better, bad get worse. Wait, I think I meant that in reverse.
I mean, forget it. And you see the influence in today. There's no way there could be Hamilton without Sondheim, without his lyrics. I mean, Durand has obviously said, I'm sure.
He has.
Yeah, relates to that. But Sorry, Grateful, Good Thing Going, Getting Married Today. Oh, see, Sue has some great
good choices, Sue. Yeah.
Not While I'm Around. That could have been Send in the Clowns, of course.
That was one of mine too, because that's my mom's favorite song.
Arguably his most famous song.
Yeah. Well, it's been covered by Sinatra and.
Which one?
Send in the Clowns.
Send in the Clowns, yeah.
Also, a similar simplicity to something like Good Thing Going. Have you guys seen the Merrily documentary? If you haven't, go watch it, because they literally have a video of him from, I think it's the early 80s. I think it's 81 when they started writing it. And he's literally pounding his head going, write simpler, Stephen. Just write simple, write from what you know. Because he gets so convoluted and crazy by the end that he's like, just write simple. And something like Send in the Clowns or Good Thing Going, or, it is super simple. But it's so like...
Yeah, and I love Good Thing Going. That's actually one of my favorites too. I also love Not a Day Goes By. I love Sorry, Grateful. I actually relate to all of those songs so much when I read those lyrics, so much. But when I really thought about the question, I was like, Sondheim, if like aliens did come down and had to like take back something of Sondheim's and know like that this was the kind of stuff he did, I feel like Getting Married Today has all those little bits and pieces of his internal rhymes and just his crazy wittiness. So that's
what's cool about that song too is that little to no one can do it well.
Yeah,
it's so not hard. A song that people can do.
But then is that a problem, because it's not a ballad? It doesn't combine. It's all just this very staccato.
Well, not the stuff that Jenny sings and Paul. They have their Today's for Amy and the
that's very lyrical
day.
And pretty. Yeah, mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stuff.
You're defending your brother's answer, so
true.
That's what
Well, I agree with him. That it kind of puts all of it together. It really does. It puts it all together. Yeah.
And it's a marathon. You really think about that pattern. It's so hard to do those three verses. Anyone that can do it, I just think it's astounding. And like he wrote that for people to master, to take on as a challenge.
There's another Best Worst Thing That Ever Happened. Yep, that's the one on Netflix. And I don't know if it's still on HBO. There's that other one called Six by Sondheim. That's on HBO that James Lapine did like a few years back.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
6 songs and it like deconstructs the songs. It's really interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay, ultimate Sondheim song. Back to it. Okay, so we have Getting Married Today. We have Good Thing Going, and we have Sorry, Grateful. It's interesting. Okay, Good Thing Going. Sorry, Grateful. Guys, this is not planned. I swear. But Denene, what? Oh God, I gotta go to.
What am I, chopped loafer?
Jeremy, I'm sorry. I just say Sweeney Todd. So,
well, of course, I'm going to say Sweeney Todd. So if you don't want to hear from me, then that's why you're skipping me. No,
Bucciarelli is.
I just want to say, that I think this is, an example of how great a composer Sondheim is, because you do have these wonderful ballads. I mean, my personal choice would have been A Little Priest from Sweeney Todd. I think that encompasses him brilliantly, and it ends with that famous pose with the knife and the rolling pin. Anyway, that's my choice. But Not While I'm Around is a beautiful song from Sweeney as well. And so you've got these gorgeous ballads that, and some are simple and some are complex. And then you've got these crazy patter songs with all these witty lyrics. I mean, you could really go any way. And it's amazing that he's known for both a simple song like Good Thing Going or Send in the Clowns or Sorry Grateful, but also a crazy patter song like Not Getting Married. So I just want to say that it just shows what an amazing composer and living legend that he is. All right, take it away, Adam.
Okay, now I totally agree. Rob just wrote in the comments, does it put it together better than the song Putting It Together? And one of the first numbers we sang, do you guys remember?
I do.
One of our first fundraiser concerts we did back in 2008. We did Putting It Together.
I remember.
I forgot, actually. I'd forgotten that, but yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
Oh my God. But I have to say, it is not planned, but Brian, I think because Denene gave that good point that there is more than just patter in that song. I think the aliens would understand Sondheim with Getting Married Today. So Brian, you get the point. It's 1-1-1.
I'm so glad because Assassins was my original choice for the movie, and Hugh Jackman was in it. And my version too. What? Isn't that crazy?
Well,
was he?
He is Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted him to play Booth too, and I thought it was funny because of the political climate in the world. We had the same answer. Isn't that bizarre?
That is bizarre.
Well, you have a choice. Do you guys want to do this tiebreaker, or do you guys all three want to win? I'm ready.
We can all win.
It's a fun. Well, I want to find out what you guys think. What would be the tiebreaker question is, what's the first Sondheim show you'd like to see post-COVID, and why? I think Brian or DJ already gave their answer because they kind of already had it. But real quick, DJ.
Oh, I just said Company because I already had tickets to see Company and it got canceled because of COVID. So come on, COVID, let me see some musical theater.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with DJ because I saw the Boyd Gaines revival of Company and I saw Raul Esparza too, and I really would like to see that new one with the woman playing Bobby. And I also would like to see my movie of it. I really want to see my movie of it because I think it would be stunning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I also was supposed to see the Company revival, which I thought sounded pretty cool. But I think post-COVID, I'd want to see Into the Woods because I think Into the Woods is written in such a way that that giant can represent anything. Yep. So at this time and how I was going to say
it's a downer of a show though.
Yeah, but that giant could be the political situation. It could be the pandemic. It could be so many different things. And I would just love to see what somebody does with that because, there's all speculation that it was AIDS, that it was whatever. And Sondheim's never said, yes, this is what I meant it to be. I think it's very important to him that people can decide that for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I might go with Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum because we all need a laugh. Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
Everybody ought to have him made.
Yeah. That plays well.
We're going to skip that song. We're cutting that song.
I don't think that works anymore.
But Denene, you guys both chose Company. I got to pick Denene now. Denene, you're the one. You gave a great answer. Then I was going to say giant, but it's such a downer. But then you brought in the point of the post-COVID.
You get the $100,000 check.
Woohoo!
Yeah, those movies. I don't know. Somebody might be watching this. So copyright Farmers Alley Theater, and we get 10%. Winner, Denene Mulay Koch.
I've never won.
Our season premiere. Congratulations. Very exciting. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just real quick, want to promote some things about everything else that we got coming up this fall. Jeremy, Rob, and I had a thing earlier this week about everything coming up over the next few months, the things that we're doing at home here, as well as some of the really special things that we just announced, including a live teleplay that will be filmed in our theater, one-woman show, The Conviction of Lady Lorraine, starring DeWanda Lampkin, and that's going to go on sale October 12th and will be available to stream at the end of October. But first, for all of our programs, Jeremy, you have your show Koch Corner. Do you have what's coming up next on the Koch Corner? Do we know?
Well, I'm still confirming the guest, but on
Okay.
my wife's birthday, October 8th, I will be interviewing someone, connected to Kalamazoo and art and theater, and we'll talk about keeping it important and vital and equitable.
We have that show. We have Lights, Camera, Musical, which is a brand new show hosted by Rob Weiner. And we're going to take a movie musical and break it down. It's going to be so much fun. Our first episode is on Little Shop of Horrors. So we're going to talk about, the changes from the play to the movie, the casting, what ifs, what holds up, what doesn't hold up, who won the movie, etc. That's going to be super, super fun. And then we also have a new show. Julie, I was going to produce her. Julie Nemitz as well. We can bring her on. She has a new show as well called Dinner and a Show, which she will be premiering this fall as well. That is very exciting, as well as our online series. We have some other super surprises for you later this fall. But folks, I hope everyone had a great time tonight. Please continue to be safe, be healthy, support arts organizations in any way possible. And folks, if you like what we're doing, and you want to support Farmers Alley Theater in any way, please consider going to farmersalleytheater.online/give. It's on the bottom of your screen there, and donating to our COVID-19 emergency fund. Governor Whitmer, everybody thinks, they're opening venues and such on October 9th, but it's at 20% capacity, folks. And, we can't just fit 20 people in our house and be able to make it work. We wish we could, but, we're going to be back soon. Someday you will be the first to know. But meanwhile, we are here, and any support that you could give would be so very valued. Thank you, contestants. Any shout outs or plugs that you want to give at all?
Give Farmers Alley all your money.
So we can
They've
bring Carol
employed me multiple times.
So we can bring DJ back.
Yes.
Absolutely. Brian, Denene, Jeremy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for watching. Keep following us. We'll be here. We can't wait to show you everything we got coming up. See you next time, folks. Signing off.
Bye.